Let's go.
Welcome home to 42 Geek Street, your guide to the world of the geek for that little bit of geek in everybody. Hi, I'm Ren, and
I'd be Mike.
that be right.
Hey guys, how's it all going? We are shooting you a lovely little pre-show here from 42 Geek Street headquarters.
My parents' house.
That's right. So what does this episode actually include? Well, the great thing is, because we're going to YouTube, no restrictions.
Yes, we could say pretty much anything we want. We can promote it wherever we want.
Yes, that's right. We can promote anything.
Yes.
That's right. See? Or we can just have an awkward silence. No, that's totally appropriate. It's fine. But basically what you're going to be seeing here, we're going to be telling you what's coming up for the upcoming season on Channel 31. And we're also going to chuck in a few pieces that we couldn't get to television, but we just wanted to put them out in the world. So this is what this episode is all about.
That's right. Also, talking about the season coming along, we've got a few new things.
Yep.
Things we've never done before.
Correct.
Like, gave stuff away, because usually I keep things to myself, because, games and things, I'm a bit of a hog. But we're actually going to give some stuff away. So every episode, there's going to be something, some object of some kind that we're going to say that is here, and we want to put it there in your hand. We only have one of everything, so only one person can take each item home. But we're going to then throw onto Facebook. So this is on the Facebook.
Yeah, so on the Facebook, I mean, give it away now.
Exactly.
Get on there.
And it'll have all the details on what you got to do, and then we'll just pick someone. We'll either have a do this, first one to do this, or the best one we think of all these, we'll get it. Right. And then we'll send it to you.
You got to be in it to win it though, folks. So make sure you get on when the show's on, and jump onto the Facebook page once we give you the details. So
some of them will be just look at Facebook, and one of the episodes you'll have to actually watch the episode and work something out. One of our probably most embarrassing episodes.
And you're probably wondering why I'm not giving you a date. We don't know it yet, but we will. And when we know, you'll know, because we'll know and we'll tell you.
And we'll promote the crap out of it.
Correct. Because on YouTube, promotion.
And but what we do know is it's going to be the first week of June. Just don't know what night, what time yet. Hopefully soon I'll find out. And
they're important factors when having a TV show. Knowing what night and what time is always good, because otherwise you're just like, keep watching.
Don't leave the TV. We could be on at any time.
That's right. We're betting nighttime. But we'll see.
We'll end up betting at 2 in the morning on a Tuesday morning.
So should we go to a clip?
Yeah, let's go to a clip. I think first off, what do you want to go to? We've got a few things here.
Well, let's FEC it, because the boys down at FEC...
Yeah, FEC clip.
They're a lively bunch.
Yeah, it's just a little interesting. Now, we did a clip in our first season. So this goes way back. And we were a bit scared about what we're going to put on TV.
It was more about what 31 was going to allow as well.
Yeah,
you guys aren't coming back to TV.
Yeah, so we didn't put this on. But, hey, we're going to put it on YouTube.
It's all in good fun.
So here's an interview from a while back.
Hi guys, it's Mike here again at Supernova, and we have the guys here from Velocity and FEC Comics, Cranbourne specifically. Guys, how's it all going?
Yeah, so so far so good. Steady flow of people.
Steady flow, some weird, lovely folks in the crowd.
Oh, always the way.
Yeah. Although we haven't seen the guy that gets up in the latex gear.
I saw him.
You saw him?
He's in a mini dress this year.
Mini skirt, yes.
Yes.
Does he have his nuts hanging out?
Look,
No.
I was happy with the nurse one last year, which was my highlight. The nurse, and the BO associated with it, latex, was great.
See, latex is very important when it comes to Supernova.
And Cranbourne.
Your thoughts, man?
I have an erection.
So what do you guys... What are you guys promoting today?
Safe sex.
Wear a
Equal
condom.
opportunity comics.
AIDS kills, don't be silly. Put a condom on your willy.
Sensible, wise words.
And amongst other things, comics.
Comics.
We got Velocity, Cranbourne, and Darker Forces. And they went over there. Yeah.
Fast
Mike, you
Hotels.
interviewed Mike and Ray.
That's the word of the day.
And AIDS kills.
Yes. And clitoris.
We're not going to use any of this, are we?
You heard it here first.
You got to polish that little man in the boat because he gets lonely in there, rowing away, rowing.
We can't use any of this. It's all good.
And we haven't sworn,
what we
and
have
we've promoted safe sex.
Actually, you know what? He's right.
What we have established is his penis got vocal cords.
Yes.
'Cause it
Yes.
Goes
When I orgasm, it goes thwip,
Whip.
thwip, like Spider-Man.
Not wank like Captain America.
Don't be silly.
No.
Don't swear. Don't keep it clean.
Make up shit.
So thanks for coming, guys, and it's been a wonderful supernova. Good luck for the rest of the day. Enjoy your sails,
Thanks. Enjoy it.
and we'll see you next time.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe we'll just pass by Cranbourne.
So, Mike, I hope you don't have the same problem as he did on the clip.
Look, there's some stiff competition and more dad jokes than you can poke a stick at.
Okay, but not out of this room because I got my mum and dad just there. So you might hear them occasionally. Actually, I think my dad's asleep, but my mum's watching some sort of show, so the phone might ring and you might hear the occasional, "Hey, what are you doing, huh?"
SBS?
Probably. Oh, they got some Italian channel.
Ah.
So I don't know. I go in this room, the 42 Geek Street headquarters.
It's the headquarters. You can see the games.
This is where the magic happens.
So should we jump onto the new clip?
Well, the new clip of FEC. So you just saw that. Now we got to interview them again.
Yes.
So we thought, hey, we're at this is at Armageddon, I think. Armageddon.
Yes, it was.
And we thought, hey, let's get them on. I really want these guys because they're funny ass. I'm getting these guys on.
And the great thing is, it does make it to season 2
It does.
on television.
It does.
But this little segment's from right beforehand.
Yeah, so every time before we do an interview, sometimes things happen and you never see it. I see it, but I cut it.
Yeah.
And
And with good reason for television, I think.
yeah, so I think we should say we'll go to this and we'll say something after it.
Shouldn't have had those dim sims.
Hey, can you put the mic forward for a sec? Oh,
I need like
All right, that's about the right level. Are we good?
a bit lower actually. Cool.
Hi, it's Mike with a mic.
Looks oddly like
You can hear that shit.
Hi, welcome to 42 Geek Street.
This is how he gets his publishing done, by the way.
Professional.
Issue 10 coming soon, thanks to me.
You won't get this if you finish.
She said,
It's a splash page. What?
it's not Steve sex tape. You won't get this if you finish.
Good. G'day, it's Mike here for 42 Geek Street,
Hi, Mike.
we're here.
And that's what can happen before and after a shoot, especially when setting up. Everyone just kind of tries to entertain themselves, and that's usually in a lot of different ways. It's how a lot of things do get started, just before Kickstarter came into the whole thing. But I'll stop talking.
But they always seem to forget that I already have the headset plugged in and the microphone turned on, and I'm usually hearing everything.
And it's all captured. Prime example right there.
Right there.
Oh dear, let's change the subject. What else do we have coming up?
Well, we've got a few more comics. Like, it's not what our whole show is about, 42
Yeah.
Geek Street, but we had so much content and there's so much great local artists as well as international. So instead of clogging up the whole season full of comic artists, we've put most of them on this pre-show. But then, of course, when we go into the actual TV show, we've got all sorts of crazy stuff, which we'll list a little bit at the end.
We'll try and even it up so you get a lot of different things on the show.
Yeah. But right now, I think we should go to which one. I'll let you pick. We've got a little piece of paper here that tells us what's next.
Let's have a look.
Which one do you want? We've got 3 things to pick from. What's next?
Let's go with the locals. Let's go with Carmen with Mike Speakman.
All right, let's do that.
Hey, it's Mike here, 42 Geek Street, and with me we have another Mike. Mike, how you going?
I'm tired and hungover, but I'm going good. Yeah, going good.
Now tell us, what have you got on today at Armageddon?
Selling the comic, trying to, get punters involved, talking mostly. Like, we're more excited about the comics, I think, and seeing all the costumes coming out, but it's our first con, so
Oh, awesome.
it's pretty daunting.
Has it been exciting?
Yeah, it's definitely good when you see people that have previously bought the comic and they come back to get it signed and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Now,
it's good.
I've recently seen, I saw Carmen at Classic Comics.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about it for the viewers out there.
So it's pretty much an everyday girl who has no superpowers, there's no spandex, there's no capes, and she's just stuck in a hard place because the government's after her. Well, she doesn't know why. But to the readers, they do. They know why, and that's because her boyfriend uncovered some shady business that the government were under, and readers, as the series go on, will find out what that is and how big a part that it plays. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty much, I'd say, a political thriller. That's probably about the way that you sum it up.
Now, you're sharing a table with someone we all know.
Matty the Beard Taylor.
Yes, Matty
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
So how has that been? How has he been?
Quiet.
Has he been a great partner in crime?
He has been, but he's pretty quiet. And I think he's a bit nervous, to be honest. He's not himself. I think he's losing some of the power through his beard. But we're both really excited. It's both of our first con doing this, so
Oh, awesome.
yeah. But he's a good partner. He's fun. We've had some laughs, you know. So
Yeah, Matty's all right. Yeah.
he does all right.
So if people want to track you down on Facebook, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can either search Carmen Comic Series, or it's all one word on that as well. So facebook.com/Carmen Comic Series.
All right, fantastic. And yourself, is that the best place to go?
Yeah. That or Instagram, which is just, again, it's Carmen_Comic Series. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I do all the moderating through that. And,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. And hey, Matty, have you had a good day so far?
Yeah, man, it's been great fun. I've been drawing stuff, drink my first coffee.
Nice.
So second coffee, but first at the con. Yeah, it's a good day, man.
And where can people find you if they want to locate your stuff?
Art of Matty T on Facebook, so www.facebook.artofmattyt. Also, I have a dedicated art page, which is artofmattytaylor.com.au.
All right, fantastic. Well, guys, have a great con.
Thanks, dude.
And we'll be going back to the studio now. Adios. And a thanks to Matty Taylor there as well for popping in. He is actually the artist on Carmen. And there are a couple of issues in now, so keep following that for some great local artwork. Now, we've got a couple more guys coming on that are also comic writers in this case. International comic writers, I will say. So we were lucky enough to speak to these guys at Armageddon last year. So the first one will go, let's see, give us that bit of paper again, Ren. Who will we pick? I think, let's go for John Layman. Now, John Layman, you may know, he's done work on Batman Eternal as well as his own title, Chew, which is a great book, so check it out. And let's have a look. Thanks again, Armageddon, I think. Yeah, Armageddon. We love you guys.
We love you guys.
Hey, it's Mike here again for 42 Geek Street, and today we have John Layman.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about a little bit about your history just with Batman, Chew,
Sure.
And how you went from becoming an editor to a writer.
Okay.
So I suppose, what was the transition there, and what was the reason you wanted to move from editor?
I never wanted to be an editor. In fact, no sane person wants to be an editor. It's a miserable job. But I wanted to be a comic book writer forever. And I grew up, in the 80s and graduated from college in the 90s. And this was almost pre-internet, and you didn't know how to do it.
Yep.
And I worked at the San Diego Union Tribune newspaper. And I was kind of Jimmy Olsen. I would deliver mail. I was literally a mailboy for a while. But I would freelance articles. And the big San Diego Comic-Con was in San Diego.
Yeah.
And although it was nowhere near as big as it is now. And I would freelance an article every year. And they would always want the local angle. And Jim Lee's Wildstorm studio was in town. And so I would always call Jim Lee's studio and talk to them. And they knew I kind of knew my stuff. And they eventually called me and said, we have an assistant editorship. And I did that, became an editor. Suddenly DC bought us, and I was a DC editor. And after about 5 years, I had read scripts by, fantastic writers and terrible writers, and worked with all kinds of people and had connections, and I sort of knew how it was done. And, that's when you step onto the tightrope without a net. And
I suppose it's great on the job learning, I suppose,
Yeah,
when you think about it. Yeah.
Exactly.
So you went from that, and when did Chew come about? How did Chew come about?
Well, I mean, I quit in 2001 and sort of started at the bottom. And, you get a small gig and a bigger gig and a bigger gig and a bigger gig. And Chew actually came about because I had some lean years in comics, but I was getting video game work. And I had taken a long-term video game job. And I had this book that I had been pitching for 5 years, this cannibal, weird comedy, and no one wanted it. And this video game job was like a 2-year job, but it was going to end. And I wanted to be back in comics.
Yep.
So I said, damn it, I'm going to finance this book that nobody wants. Nobody's going to buy it, but I'll use it to show editors to get work. And it came out, and even Image didn't. I remember when they announced it at WonderCon, they said, "Here's this book. It's going to be great. Here's this book. It's going to be great." Oh, and here's this book called Chew. Like, no one had any expectations, and it came out, and it sold out. It sold out. It sold out. It sold out again after we said it would be our 4th and final printing.
Yep.
And then Robert Kirkman said, "Well, we said this would be our last printing. Let's do a flip book between Walking Dead and Chew." And so Walking Dead 63 flips over is Chew #1, and every time we did an issue, it just got bigger and bigger, and it's since settled down. It doesn't get Batman numbers, but for an independent book about a cannibal cop, it does very well.
Yeah. Look, when it was recommended to me by my editor, because I do like a webcomic, but he goes, seriously, pick this up, you'll love it. So I read it and I was like, this is great. There's the fun element to it, which I think is just, what he has to do to find out these clues, but it's great.
I didn't set out to do this. I mean, first of all, Chew, I didn't, it might have been actually accepted when I pitched it, had I pitched it like this, but everyone eats. It's a universal experience. Everyone can relate to a terrible meal or having to eat something gross. Every person in the world can relate to this. There's a viral nature to Chew because people are taking it to their girlfriend or their coworker or whoever who doesn't read comics and says, well, you don't read comics, try this out. This is a little different. And Chew really has a viral aspect, and really for every reader I talk to, they were either turned on or they've turned on a couple people, and it just kind of spreads, which is good for me.
Yeah, no,
and the book.
Definitely. So I suppose in between that, because you're back on Chew now at the moment, is that right?
I've never not been off at Chew. I mean, we...
You did Eternal kind of like in between, and you wanted to focus more on it? Or?
Well, I was doing Detective, and I took Eternal to kind of complement Detective, and then they took me off Detective, not for any bad reason, just 2 years. They wanted to shake things up with new people, and I'm not necessarily a team player, and Eternal came out weekly. There were 5 writers. There was a ton of continuity, and you had to know a lot. And I liked Batman, where I picked a villain and did a procedural story, and sort of, or I liked Detective. And after having a premier Batman title, it didn't seem like a step in the. It didn't seem like a step up. It seemed sideways or maybe a bit down, and DC kept waving shiny objects in front of me. Do you want to write Catwoman? Do you want to write a Batman annual? Oh, yeah. And I do this, and then suddenly I'm late on my own book. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm killing the gravy train, and this thing's mine. Batman will always be there. And I went out amicably, and they said they'll have me back at any time. But I quit because I was falling behind on Chew, and then I got very far ahead on Chew. And then my Bat editor made the jump to Marvel, called me up and said, do you want to write Cyclops? And I'm like, well, I'm 3 issues ahead on Chew. Sure.
Yeah.
So now I'm writing Cyclops for Marvel.
God, so you've really gotten onto all the different ones, the DC, Marvel, Image.
Yeah. I've pretty much, I mean, again, I've been in comics since 1996. I've worked for pretty much every comic company in some capacity. I did my first Dark Horse work in the last couple of years, and that was like, a notch because I hadn't worked for Dark Horse. But yeah, I've done something for everybody.
Now, I was going to ask you about Chew as well. Now, issue 44, I think, is coming out next month.
I was just up in my hotel room, hoping the hotel Wi-Fi was good enough that I could, send the files to the printer. So, yeah, in fact, not even next month. Like, in a couple weeks when the printer, it's in motion now. I'd say 3 weeks away.
Now, I saw the text for it saying, it's not for wusses, apparently, this episode. So it's full on?
Yeah, it's... We every once in a while, and this time we're telling people, but like when issue 30 we did something terrible to a main character, and that was the halfway point. But we do this kind of slow burn, and it's funny to watch reviewers kind of like, well, this arc's going really slow, what are they doing? It's like, we're giving you the slow burn, and then we're going for the jugular. And the next 2 issues, 44 and 45, are really going to shake things up. Because Chew's only 60 issues.
Yep.
And we're heading into the end game, so it's time to raise the stakes.
Oh, great. And I was going to ask you before, I think you've kind of answered the question, but I suppose, how did you find collaboration when it came to Batman Eternal as well?
Oh, it was fun. We all got along. That was nice. I mean, I've heard stories about different, you get a lot of heads in a room. You sometimes get egos in the room, but we somehow we'd have writer conferences, and everyone was friends, and everyone's really mellow, and everyone's open to their own ideas, and there was a lot of give and take in a positive way. So that wasn't really so bad. It was the worst part of it is I'm behind on Chew, and there was one day where I literally got 47 emails about Batman Eternal, and I'm like, just stop, turn off the computer. I can't take it.
So I suppose you said 60 issues. Now, once Chew is done, do you have any ideas for after that?
Sorta, yes and no. I mean, I'm not going to have something the next month. Like I want people to miss Chew, and part of this is an excuse for me to be lazy, and I am lazy. But I want people to sort of like have an emptiness in their life, where they'll be like, when I come back with my next book, they'll be like, oh, I want to pick it up because I like Chew. Yeah. If I do Chew 60 and then issue number 1 of the next thing, I don't think it'll get the same buzz. And again, this is just my rationale for being lazy.
No, fair enough. So I suppose with Armageddon, are you doing a few of the different ones as well? Are you going on to Auckland after this? Yep.
Yeah. I've been doing kind of as much international travel as I can, because it's a great opportunity to see the world. So when I had this chance, I jumped at it. But my big regret is we're not seeing that much of Melbourne, and I'm with 3 other writers, and we all have scripts due. And the really cruddy thing is we're going to have to go back to the room and work. And there's nothing going to be harder than that when you're, in a city on the other side of the world that you want to see, but you got to get that, script turned in.
Well, I was just saying to James as well, I said, look, if nothing else, try and check out the comic shops and check out the food trucks.
Oh,
because they're really awesome, and I say that to everyone, but they're great. You got
fantastic.
All that kind of stuff. But thanks for talking to us today.
Oh, sure.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and all the best for the rest of your trip.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks for having me.
Let's take you back to the studio.
Okay, now the last guest that we had on the show, another international writer, was James Tynion, who I spoke to last year as well, and he was really great to talk to. Both these guys were great, and hear what they've got to say. Well, James in this case.
Yeah.
Because you've already heard John. James now.
It's Mike here for Geek Street, and today we have James Tynion.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
And now you've got quite a bit of work going on at the moment. You've been working on Batman Eternal. God, yeah. I'm struggling with that one, getting it out there. And you're also working on the Talon.
Yeah, I've been Talon right now. I've moved off of that project, but I was the main writer of that book for the first 14 issues, and then the book went away sort of end of like last winter. But right now I'm working on Batman Eternal for DC Comics, and I have a few comics coming out through Boom Studios. The Woods is my big title over there. which is an ongoing weekly, not weekly, God, I can only do one of those at a time, but it's an ongoing monthly series about a high school trapped in the middle of an alien forest. And then I have another horror miniseries coming out from them starting this month. But my big thing is Batman Eternal. That is a lot of waking hours go into that book.
I was going to say, I mean, was Batman a thing you always kind of, you were inspired to kind of do?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Batman's one of the best characters that's ever been created for any medium. Like, he's absolutely timeless. And now we're on the 75th anniversary of the character, and I think it's hard to imagine a world in which there's not going to be he's not going to be around for another 75 years. He's burned into our psyche. He is so much a part of all of us, and it's a universal story that everyone can relate to. I mean, the thing that I always point to with Batman is that everyone has those moments in their life, the really, really bad moments that sort of feel like they destroy everything. And in those moments, we have to try to build ourselves into something better to make sure that never happens again. Batman is that writ to the nth degree. That is that on the largest scale possible. And he shows all of us that we can rise up and create a world in which our greatest fears don't have to destroy our lives over and over again.
And you were a student of Scott, weren't you? Scott Snyder.
That is correct. Actually, I was his student before he even wrote a single comic book. He was just a short story writer, and I shouldn't say just a short story writer. He was quite an excellent short story writer at the time. But that was, at this point, I forget it, like 6 or 7 years ago. And he, towards the end of my time in his class, he had started being approached by Marvel and DC, or actually Vertigo at that point. His first published comic was actually the Human Torch one-shot that he did for the Marvel 75th anniversary. So it was the original Human Torch, the robot one, not Johnny Storm.
Oh, okay.
So I remember talking him through all of that, and that was the big thing. I was the comic geek in the class, and he was a comic geek, and I sort of was, we would pass comics back and forth. And I became a writing assistant of his on actually a young adult novel that never saw the light of day. But we had worked together, and we continued talking. And about 5 years into that relationship, he asked me if I'd be willing or interested to help him co-write something, because they had asked him to do backups on the monthly issues of Batman, and he didn't have room on his slate to do it. So I was like, yes, please. I'd been trying to break into comics.
Let me think about that.
Like at that point, I was working in copywriting for an ad firm, and what I was doing, I think, the day that he called me, is I was trying to come up with a button for a makeup Facebook ad, because for that we had to, it was like, you had to have an opinion. It was like, do we go with start, go, begin? And you have to have an opinion about why that matches the brand. And it was like, oh God, why am I doing this? But, so yeah, I think I'll write some Batman. I think I'd be okay with that.
So how much input did you get to have into Batman lore? I mean, were there certain parameters that you couldn't move from, or did you get a chance to kind of work inside of that? And I mean, with Talon, you must have brought in some newer elements too, especially with Dick Grayson, and kind of what was involved there.
Right. I mean, Scott had created this great groundwork with the Court of Owls and everything he'd been doing over in the main Batman story. But then in Talon, I got to expand all of that. I got to add history, got to define a bit more of how the Court of Owls worked and how they wielded their power. And that was a lot of fun. I like world building, which is one of the reasons Batman Eternal was such a perfect project for me. When they first asked us about it, I was freaked out. The scale of a project like that is immense. But the opportunity to focus on little strange corners of Gotham that I might not get to, like the Gotham Gazette. I've been able to establish who's the editor-in-chief of the Gotham Gazette, who's their crime reporter, who's all of that, and that's the sort of stuff that builds a universe. And that's what was really important to me. So those are the little things I've been able to add to the lore. But with Eternal, I got to play with much larger pieces. For instance, we brought Stephanie Brown back into continuity as the spoiler. And
was that fun?
That is really fun. Yeah. She's been one of my favorite characters for years. And also just getting a chance in the New 52 to bring Tim Drake, Red Robin, more into the fold of Gotham, because he's been off in Teen Titans since the New 52 launch. So in the new continuity, we hadn't really seen him interact except for little one-off pieces here and there with the Bat family. Yep. So it's great to be able to root him more centrally in all of that. And then also I helped Scott a lot with the development of the character Harper Row and her brother Cullen. And now she's becoming Bluebird in the continuity. And it's just like, those are things that I definitely take a lot of pleasure in. And I love what I've been able to add to the Batman mythos. But, hopefully this is just the beginning. I have a lot of ideas in my head.
Awesome. No, it's fantastic. Is there any tips or something we should be looking out for in future issues, or is it kind of tight-lipped at this point?
Well, it's pretty tight-lipped. We're moving right now. I think issue number 27 or something came out recently, maybe 28. But we're over halfway through the story now, and there's been some big reveals. Now we know Hush is one of the major villains of the series, and it's the first appearance of that character in the New 52. So I think that's pretty exciting. That's a character a lot of people love and have been waiting to see reemerge. And now we get to say, here he is, and we're telling a huge story with him. But also, I have to point out that this is only the halfway point of the entire year. It's going to keep getting bigger. There's going to keep being humongous reveals from now until the end. I was just talking to some of my co-writers who are here for the weekend, and it's absolutely incredible just to be able to have conversations where it's like, well, then the plane crashes into the sky, like that kind of stuff. That's the fun stuff. That's there are such big, amazing moments to come in this series, and I think fans are really going to enjoy it.
Oh, fantastic, man. I've been loving it myself, and it's just been a pleasure to read, really, because I've been having to catch up on quite a few of the issues, and now it's just kind of like, yeah, here we go. It's really starting to ramp up now, so it's been fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Now, with the other projects you were doing as well, what's in store for those as well?
Well, The Woods, like I said, that's a story of a high school transported into the middle of an alien forest, and it's a long form story. Actually, Boom Studios just confirmed that they are committed to the series through its ending, issue 36, even though only issue 6 has come out so far. So they're backing it all the way, and fans. There's been an incredible response to the series. That series is very close to my heart. It's something where I get to play with all of my own insecurities from when I was in high school and when I was growing up, and get to play with the metaphor of the woods is basically when you're a teenager, you think you know everything, you think you're prepared for anything, and then you're thrust out into a world where you realize all the things that you've been preparing for are fictional versions of what actually is out there, and you actually there's no way to prepare. All you can do is accept the fact that I don't know what to do. And when you can accept that, that's when you can adapt and start becoming the person you need to be. That's been that series is that's ongoing. The first trade is now out, so people should check that out. I have another series called Mimetic, which is a 3-issue oversized miniseries, 30 pages an issue, and that is going to it's about an image posted online that ends the world in 3 days. So it's sort of playing into the idea of internet memes and all of that, but also the idea of how, in the modern age, an idea can spread around the internet faster than we can understand the repercussions of that idea. So that's a dangerous place to be in. And so if you take the more ridiculous aspect of that and then put the weight of a more dangerous aspect, it's just like, what if one of those, the I Can Has Cheeseburger cat pictures actually, started causing mass riots, what started causing the total destruction of humanity.
Everyone wants cheeseburger.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yeah, but and once you see that, you spread it around to all of your friends. You spread it around to everyone, because you want to spread that little bit of joy, but not understanding what's behind that joy and what all of that is. So it's a really dark horror story, even though it's kind of ridiculous. And people might have seen the image that's been floating around online, which is we've called it the Good Time Sloth, which is the image in the series, and it's a sloth giving a thumbs up in front of a spiral background, and it's just this bizarre image. But that's exactly the kind of image that people would spread around like wildfire. So.
No, that sounds really, really good. I look forward to kind of catching up on that as well, because so much to catch up on right now.
Oh, yeah.
But no, enjoy the time you have here. Are you here longer than the weekend, or are you flying back? Or
we're actually moving on to the next Armageddon Expo in Auckland the following weekend. So I get to hang out in Melbourne, see Melbourne, and then go check out New Zealand for a bit. So it's going to be a great weekend. I'm very excited. Great weekend, 2 weekends. I'm very, very excited to be here.
Well, anything I can recommend is check out the comic stores here. Check out the food trucks because they're also really awesome.
All right.
But yeah, thanks for talking to us today, and all the best.
Yeah.
Cheers. And we'll go back to the studio.
And thank you, Mike, for those interviews. Spending a lot of time out there talking to all these people and then doing all the hard work. I appreciate it, Mike.
Is the truth that just that, because I was interviewing, all these people, I just had to get cut because it was too much me on the show.
There is a bit of Mike on the show. But anyway, every show needs a bit of Mike. Now, I just want to say once more time that I just want to say thanks to Armageddon. We try to get to cons when we can, and it's not always easy for media. You try and get what you can, and Armageddon really came to the party last year, and they got us a lot of interviews. That was just a taste of some of them. Coming on this season, we're going to have Kevin Eastman.
That for me was just being a major Turtle fan.
Yeah. And we've got a few other people, and we're going to have to watch the show to find out. But they really helped us out. I really appreciate Armageddon. Big thanks. Now, coming up on the show, this basically concludes this episode. But coming up this season, definitely, we mentioned giveaways. We have a whole new crew, pretty much.
Yeah.
Apart from you just won't go away.
Nah, there's no getting rid of me.
He knows where I live. So. Well, I live sometimes anyway. And what we've done is we now have a 42 Geek Street crew deck. And Mike drew these, pretty awesome. And you're going to see a little bit of this occasionally. And we've got, everyone's got their own card with stats and stuff. So we've written silly things for ourselves. So you're going to see that at some point. And you probably agree on some of them.
Would you say it could be part of a new intro?
Possibly.
It's out there.
It's out there. Who's this? Distraction plus 120. The eyebrow. Anyway, you'll find out who has all those skills and who does not. Coming up soon, we've got Oz Comic Con, so I'll be there, hopefully. You might be, I don't know.
Yeah, see
Depends.
how I go.
Yeah.
I could be international myself.
Ooh. Hopefully, Oz Comic Con will be able to give us someone to interview there. And so I guess that should conclude the show. We're looking forward to seeing you all. One more thing. There is a chance, once I find out the date of when we're going to air, I'll then work out when the last episode's going to be. And then I'm going to try and find a venue for us all to hang out.
Yeah.
So the last episode, we're hoping to go to a pub, ask them to play it, so we could watch it all together, because usually I'm by myself or with just a couple of people, because, But it's a bit weird to watch with other people, the show. But well, the last episode, we're thinking, why not? Why the hell not? Let's have a couple of drinks, hang out together, watch it, and so look out for that. We'll probably announce it. We'll announce it on the Facebook page, which I guess I should post it. So we should do the whole sharing, caring, hugging,
FB,
and we'll put it all on there. But definitely, probably on the 9th, 10th, 11th episode, we'll have more details for you about it.
Yes, as we approach the end, we'll let you know where we're going to be.
Yeah, cool. And until then...
Or when and where. Did I say where and where? I did say where and where.
We know exactly what you mean. Yeah. I do really. It was kind of scary.
I hope I'll polish up a bit more before season 2 starts, I promise.
And until then, everyone should just be hugging around. Just hug. No angry. Just hug. Hug it out. Play some games and have fun. Alright?
We'll see you guys soon on 31.
That's right.
Let's go.
I was thinking, after the credits and stuff, we could do something.